Ashish Pradhan, President Asia, Siegwerk Group, Germany. We are what we eat, that's what people say. Yeah. And today, consumers are eating a lot of packaged food all around the world, and India is no exception. So, when you look at packaged food, it's not only the food that is important, it's the package that contains the food is also extremely important. For our health, the food contributes, of course, but the packaging contributes to the health of the food. So, at the end of the day, packaging is extremely important for the health of a consumer. And as you look at packaging development around the world for the last many decades, we have gone more and more and more towards safe packaging. And when we mean safe packaging, we mean packaging that is safe to contain the food that it is protecting, also making sure that all the chemicals that are used in the packaging remain in the package and do not get transferred or migrated into the food. It also has to ensure that outside elements do not contaminate the food that is being packaged. So at the end of the day, if globally we see trends towards more and more safe packaging, and this is a trend that is being followed in India also. The first challenge that we face is awareness. Is the awareness that food packaging has an immense impact on overall food safety. A lot of the awareness actually has come through scandals in food safety over the past several years. Not only in India but also in Europe. There was a huge scandal in Europe around ITX, which was found in baby milk. Even in India, we have had a scandal relating to packaging in the past relating to several food products. Now, this is one way of getting awareness up, but this is probably a reactive approach and not a proactive approach. And that, I would say, is the first challenge facing all of us, whether it is regulators, whether it is consumers, whether it is food packaging companies, or even food manufacturers. The second challenge is that it's a fast evolving field. Our knowledge of the human body and how it responds to different toxins is ever expanding. And hence, what is relevant yesterday is not relevant today. What is relevant today or what is safe today may not be safe tomorrow. And this is a continuously evolving field because, as you know, science is a continuously expanding universe at the moment. So, to keep on track and keep on top of these developments is the second big challenge of producing safe food packaging. And the third is of compliance. We can have regulations, we can have standards, but how do we ensure that the entire packaging value chain is adhering to those standards? The testing of food packaging requires an immense infrastructure and it is humongous in scale. And that is why it is very important to inculcate a sense of self-discipline in the entire value chain to make sure that at the end of the day, the consumer gets not only safe food, but also packed in safe packaging. Let me take an example of toluene. Toluene as a solvent is an extremely useful solvent when it comes to making and manufacturing printing inks and using them on a printing press. It's a really, really good solvent. But is it a good solvent for the human body? Certainly not. It is classified as a CMR2 category solvent, which is carcinogenic, mutagenic, reprotoxic. Now, this solvent is used or was used widely in the printing ink industry a few years ago for the manufacture of inks used in food packaging. One might then wonder, why is it so important? Because this ink is not coming in contact with the food. However, we must understand that unless there is a functional barrier like aluminum foil, there is always a possibility of residual solvent from the ink passing through several layers of plastics and contaminating the food. This single solvent has the potential of impacting the health of consumers, number one. Number two, this solvent is also used on the printing press and it is also used in printing ink manufacturing factories when we make the ink. and the exposure of that solvent to workers is extremely high and it's extremely detrimental. It is used as a sniffing drug in some parts of the world. It easily passes through the brain membrane and can impact our mental faculties. Siegwerk is a family-owned company based out of Siegburg, close to Cologne in Germany. The family has been associated with the business for nearly 200 years. We celebrate the family's association with the business of 200 years next year in 2024. It started its business in calico printing, textile printing, and then later on moved into printing ink manufacture in Siegburg, which is a small village close to Cologne. Its big global footprint happened in the year 2009 when we actually acquired Sigpa, which was a printing ink company in those days, which was manufacturing security inks and packaging inks. Sigpa had global operations and Siegwerk used that global reach to become a global company in printing ink manufacture. In India, they came into 2011, again on the back of this acquisition, and we have a large facility in Bhiwadi, which is close to Alwar in Rajasthan, which manufactures all our inks, and then we distribute it around the whole country, including Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and Nepal. We also make inks for other Siegwerk Group companies across the world. That is Siegwerk in India, which employs nearly 600 people. And happy to share with you that we actually have been growing at an extremely nice pace, which makes us more than 1,000 crore company in this year. Siegwerk in India has invested a lot in getting state-of-the-art technology into the country from Germany and the rest of the world. We have a large center of competence which employs the best of chemists and has the infrastructure that equals and rivals all the developed nations within the Siegwerk Group. We are so focused on compliance that sometimes we put compliance on top of business results. Let me give you a small example. In the year 2017, Siegwerk banned toluene being used in our factory, even though there was no regulation at that time. We did get a regulation in 2020, but for 3 years, Siegwerk proactively stopped toluene and developed technology which did not use toluene in our printing inks. And this is something that we are all very proud of, and we continue to do that now with mineral oil and also with benzophenone.